When Civ 5 released, you could play tall or wide. When Civ 6 came out, it became very clear early on that you could only really play wide. And when Civ 7 arrived, people are still a little bit unsure about which way it's going to go. But the good news is, playing tall is not dead. Every single city that you see before you is a city. It is not a town, it is not specialized. They are all cities, and they've completed every single building that you could ask for in a city at the end of the antiquity era. We've done absolutely every single building. We're now just working on walls, and the good news is playing tall is 100% possible. There's one key ingredient. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's got to be the leader, right? It's got to be something to do with Himiko. Well, the good news is that that's not it. This Himiko, this is the science-focused Himiko. We'd put her in S+ tier, but the culture-focused Himiko, she would go in the E tier. And there's a good reason why that is. And that's because her bonuses are just absolutely terrible. They're actually not even bonuses. They work against her. What you actually need is a civilization. And that civilization is the Mississippians. This civilization is by far one of the best civilizations that there is, together with the Mayans in the S tier for the Age of Antiquity. But this video is not about the Age of Antiquity. It is about the Exploration Age, and it's about what you can actually do with all these cities as you roll over in the Age of Antiquity to the Age of Exploration. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Drongo. This is Civ 7. It's time to take one more turn. Now, just before we get into the action, if you do want to play along on this seed, I'll leave 2 saves on the Discord. The first one is going to be at this turn 1, and the second one is going to be here on turn 79, ready to roll over into the Age of Exploration. Now, before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about why this is actually viable. Every single one of these cities has a production queue. 54 production here, 56 production here, 52 production here. Chickasaw, 70 production. That's a big boy. 73 production. We've got massive production in every single one of these cities. And that means we can convert that to units. That means we can convert it to world wonders, or it means that we can convert it into yields, like science or culture. A key component of growing tall and playing tall is playing around specialists. In the capital, Cahokia, here, we've actually got a 3 specialist cap, and that's because we've gone all the way down the expansionist tree to the +1 specialist limit, and we've also secured the Anchor Watt, and we've also just got the bonus from having specialists at currency. So this tile right here is the absolute king of adjacency, and it is a core component to specialists because specialists multiply the adjacency bonuses that your tiles are giving. So this is a key ingredient in playing tall because it means that you can take advantage of your specialists. You're not just throwing them in a tile. It's not about having more specialists. It's about having better specialists. That's the key. And we want to stick lots of specialists in very good tiles like this one. I think there's the legacy achievement is like, what is it? 5 yield 40 tiles across your empire. And I'm just looking at this city right now and I'm seeing 5 tiles that have easily got 40 yields. Look, it's going to be absolutely fine in the Age of Exploration. Let's roll over though and move over into the next age. The Age of Antiquity has come to an end. The key thing that we want to be looking for here is to change our mementos. That's the first thing. It's one of the things that I often forget. So we'll go ahead, cancel out of this. We did pick up 3, 3, 2, and 3, which is pretty damn good compared to where the enemies are at. Keep in mind, this is a deity game, so these guys are pretty good. But let's just make sure, don't forget the mementos, Drongo. Don't forget the mementos. There we go. Change the mementos. So we used Groma and Golden Sapphire Flowers, but when we move in to the next one, what I noticed is we've got a really good Tundra spawn, and I've unlocked Catherine level 9, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go straight into Great Imperial Crown, which gives me +1 science on literally every single Tundra tile, and this one right here, I think that there's a part of me that thinks, you know what, it's probably just going to make sense to start off with Corpus Juris Civilis, which gives us an extra start, or extra policy slot on the start, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Let's confirm, and we're going to be pairing this with the Majapa hit. And the reason why is because all cities except the capital receive +1 specialist limit. And, well, the good thing about having 8 cities is that, 7 of them aren't your capital. So we're going to go ahead and just take the Majapa hit purely for that bonus. Obviously, there's some other cool components to it. I saw that the Abbasids were quite popular. I ran a question on YouTube, and the Abbasids were quite popular. So let's move into this and talk about why you actually might want 8 cities in the Golden Age, or rather in the Exploration Age, and how you'd go about getting all 8 cities to remain cities. Of course, you already know the answer. It is to simply take the Golden Age policy, but would it actually be worth it? Would it be worthwhile going for another route? Would it be worth potentially going into your Golden Age academies? Definitely. I mean, that's 100% a worthwhile choice. But I think if there is ever a time when someone has looked at this for balance purposes and said, you know what, this could be problematic, it's right now. This is the moment where you've got 8 cities and they're absolutely all just pumped up to the max, ready to go. This is the exception. So I'm confident that it might not be the best choice, but I'm confident this is probably the best circumstances you can find. Because if you wanted to actually upgrade all these cities or towns into cities, it starts off at 100, but very quickly it starts to move up. It'd be more than 2,000 gold. I've already gone through. I've already tested it. Do not fret. You can see some of our tiles here have already got the science beginning to show, so that is going to give us, I think it works out to about a 60 science boost across our empire at this stage. So this is quite a nice bonus. So let's go ahead and spend our points. We'll grab Fealty, which is a pretty mandatory one once you've got those 2 points. We'll also make sure that we take Wondrous Heritage because we picked up quite a few world wonders in the last age. I think we got a total of 12. So we did very well on the production side of things. With all of these cities, obviously they're spread across the cities. Like as an example, you've got the Colossus over here. We would have loved to have the Colossus on this tile right here, but unfortunately it didn't reach. That would have given us a +7 adjacency and not a +6 adjacency. And the way that you actually get the +6 adjacency on a tile like this is if your building is on ring 3 from the city center, you have to connect it with a world wonder. That's the only way that you can do it, or at least the only way that I'm aware of. Perhaps there is another way, a sneakier way, but yeah, that's the only way I'm aware of. So once we've gone for that, we're definitely not going to take this Himiko exploration legend culture. That's not a good idea. Don't do it. We'll go for the cultural attribute point. There's a part of me that wants to grab the diplomatic point, but we'll leave it for now. We'll also grab the... do we want to grab the master caravaneers? Probably not. We'll just go the eco point. And here we've got our science points. So we might as well just grab in the collector of knowledge as well as 2 scientific attribute points. And I think that's pretty much it. Actually, we can get rid of one of the scientific attribute points and let's instead grab a diplo point. And that's going to round us out for our points at the start here. When it comes to production, what we're going to be doing is just moving absolutely everything off the start with settlers. The idea is we want to get out onto the map and we just want to flood immediately. And because we've got all of these cities, we can just start producing settlers from the very beginning of the game. On top of that, before we actually entered into the Age of Exploration, we prepared a little something earlier. Not only do we have 1 army commander, we have a 2nd army commander. We've got a 3rd army commander. I think we've got a couple more, but I don't think they've got anything in them. 4th one over here and a 5th one over here. I guess it just doesn't look, because these guys were packed, but I guess they're probably like, hey, you know what? That's enough. You've got enough army. Don't do any more. That's fine. So these guys are going to be heading to the coasts. They're going to be beginning to move out. We've got all of our settlers queued up. Not all of them. Hold on. Give me a second here. And so basically the plan here, at least the way that I'm thinking this strategy out, because I sat down, I said, okay, what's the best way that we can implement this? So let's talk a little bit about our key bonuses here. Shell-tempered pottery is the main one. Just adding that in from the very beginning is going to be amazing. It's going to mean that we go from -102 gold up to +47. So we've just swung about 150 gold with a single policy, which is pretty damn strong in my opinion. On top of that, we've now got production coming out from all 8 of our cities. From here, we're also now going to be able to purchase set banks. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but we'll just go ahead and begin doing that. So our seat bang starts off over down here on the bottom side. So let's go ahead and we'll purchase another one here. And the idea is quite simple. We just want to start flooding the waters with as many as we possibly can. So we've just purchased them. I think we'll probably just leave a nice little buffer right there. We've started to drop down, and from here we're going to move our generals out onto the coastlines, and we'll begin to flood in every single direction. When it comes to technology, we're gunning for shipbuilding. That's the one. I actually went through the entire tech tree and I said, okay, what's the one that's going to make the most impact here? Shipbuilding by far has got to make the most impact because it allows your naval units to travel safely across the deep ocean water, but most importantly, quickly. They don't have any movement penalties anymore, and it's all units, so all of your settlers can just immediately do that. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to be going for. So I think starting off by just moving into cartography makes the most sense, because now all of a sudden your civilian and support units can start moving out there, including your settlers, but it's going to take time to get out there. From a cultural perspective, I think piety is going to be the best opening just to get your religion up and running and to be able to secure everything that you want. From a government perspective, plutocracy makes the most sense doing this strategy, because not only do you get that extra 20% gold, you also have the option of the overbuilding, which is incredibly powerful, because after we produce a single round of settlers out of all of these cities, with the exception of the big boys, so we've got a couple big boys in here, this guy's got 37, whereas this one's only got 17, so we might do 2 out of Cahokia, 2 out of Chickasaw, and then after that, we're just going to be completely overbuilding our empire. And we're going to use that bonus. We're going to make sure that we stack it up. There's other ways that we can stack it up as well. So we get plus 20 production towards overbuilding here. And keep in mind, because of our mementos that we took, our mementos are going to, let me scroll down. Our mementos are going to allow us to have that extra social policy slot. So we're always going to be able to keep the good stuff in. Finally, when it comes to our resources, it doesn't really matter at this stage. I think the most important thing is, if you're going for a world wonder, you want to try and stack as many resources as you can in that city. So the main focus is probably going to be Cahokia. There is a key couple of world wonders that I've identified so far as being particularly strong. The first one is down here. It's because it gives you a settlement limit as well as +1 settlement limit on the actual mastery itself. The second one is going to be up here, bureaucracy, Borobudur, which, from my understanding, literally just gives +2 happiness and +2 food on every single quarter in your entire empire, which is absolutely bonkers. Keep in mind that your quarters don't exist from previous ages unless they are built with ageless buildings. So as an example, here we've got a brickyard and a granary. This is a quarter. Whereas here we've got an academy and a library, and these are marked as obsolete. Now, keep in mind, if you see the UI that I'm playing with here and you think, wow, that's pretty snazzy, make sure you check out the link. I'll leave it in the post that I do for this specific save on the Discord. So go check it out. Yeah, other than that, what was the other key component that we wanted to talk about? We've done the overbuilding. I think that's pretty much it. It's time for me to hit the narrative choice. We're going to go for, oh, this is a good one, actually. Do you start a diplomatic endeavor, or do you just take the 300 gold? And I'll be honest, there's a part of me that goes, okay, you know, quests are pretty cool because they give you heaps of unlocks down the road, but you know what I really like? Gold, man. Just give me some gold right now. So we're going to go ahead and skip through a couple turns here. I'm going to move all these units out, get all these settlers on the road, and I'll see you guys at probably, I don't know, turn 4, turn 5, turn 7, whenever we go. All right, it is turn 5, and we've started to make our way out on the open ocean. We've discovered a couple of continents, and the key thing that we're looking for here are those yummy resources that we just don't quite yet recognize. So we've spotted a couple of islands here, and are yet to find anything that we like the look of just yet. We're also making sure that our attack is multi-pronged. Not only do we have our warships, but we've also got the commanders coming up the rear, and then we've got the settlers that are also going to be taking advantage of any resources that they find. So this island's looking quite big out over here, so we might rally over towards this position. But now that we're starting to finish off our rounds of settlers, and we can see this one here has come through from the capital. The capital's already finished. We can start thinking about building up these cities now. So let's go ahead. We're actually going to find land over here. It looks like we've got a city-state as well. It is a friendly city-state, but unfortunately, they've spawned in the wrong location. So we're going to have to deal with them. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we might consider building in here. And as you can see, there's some pretty good yields here. And keep in mind, this is for every single city. Not all of them are this juicy, but they all look pretty good. So we're going to be starting things off nice and strong with a +21 bazaar to get us going. And one of the troubles that I've had playing as the Mississippians previously and then coming into the exploration age is that just everything, like trying to get this bad boy right here to slow down is, it's not possible. I like to get all of the 4 legacy paths on the same turn, and it's just like, I can't, man. I'm just dodging bullets left and right. So for today, we're not going to be doing that. Of course, we're going to try and complete all the legacy paths as quickly as possible. And the thing is that normally you're waiting on the economic legacy path. This one definitely feels like it takes the longest. Military, science, culture, these ones don't take as long. Now, I've left it a couple of turns as well, but we're also going to be buying a monastery, and that's because we've already researched our piety, and not a monastery, rather a temple. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it on top of the altar, and that should hopefully give us access to a religion. So we'll go ahead and be the religion of the frog. because being a religion of the frog, we've got to make sure we click that button afterwards. You'd hate not to click that button. So doesn't look like anybody else has founded a religion yet. Now, the one that I like, one relic for first-time conversion of another civilization settlement in distant lands that is not a city-state. This one is so easy to do. So we're going to go ahead and take that. I found that you just... Yeah, you'll see later. You'll see later. And now, one thing to note is that our culture and our gold is not particularly... Or our culture is very strong. Our science is not. Gold, on the other hand, well, we always like gold. So we're just going to go ahead and just take tithe. Because what you can do with gold is just turn it into success no matter where it is. So we'll go ahead... Now that we've done that, we can also go ahead and purchase a Pedanda, and we'll also throw in that bazaar down here. And behind the scenes, we'll look to try and get all of the overbuilding started wherever it needs to be. You can see we're missing a city plate right here. There we go, all fixed up. And we can begin to get it rolling over into the next period. I suspect we're probably going to be touching down over here as long as we can find some of those lovely foreign resources. Let's roll over to the next turn. Okay, it's turn 7, and we've started to get our overbuilding going. We've got mainly bazaars going down, stone cutters as well. These are the primary things early on that we're looking for. We want to get that gold income starting to trickle through. Over on the east side, they're a little bit weaker with regard to their production, but we've gone ahead and put most of our resources in the cap. We're going to be looking to get out some early world wonders here in the exploration age. Over towards the east, we've slowly started taking down our first city-state. So we'll go ahead and look to finish them off right here, right now. And it doesn't look like we'll be able to do it. Hold on, actually, maybe we can do it with the general. I think we indeed can. And that will mean that we're now going to be free to take all of these delicious resources. We've got, what do we have out here? We've got tea and we've got spices. So I think a settle smack bang in the middle of them, just look to try and pick them up immediately, is going to be in our best interest. We'll make sure that we don't move these guys off too far as well, just primarily because we do actually want to heal them back up. We've also got a promotion for our commander. He's now level 3. So we'll go ahead and we'll grab the right side here, I think is probably going to make the most sense. Back towards our main base, we've also started work with our religion. The frog religion has begun doing its thing. So we'll go ahead and continue moving these guys on through. Meanwhile, out towards the west, our focus is now on the next city-state. So let's work towards that. We're going to deploy our units here. Doesn't look like our commander had the promotion, but we might actually just bring everybody in just to help out, because this one's a hostile city-state, so there's a little bit more units here to actually deal with. It looks like we've got a bit of a blockage right here. Slight misplay. We could have moved this guy across, and then this one here. We could also look to bring this back, but instead we're just going to move up towards the top. Now, we've also met Jose Rizal. We've sent him out a couple of agreements, and he has happily accepted them. So it looks like we're starting to make friends. And then finally, we're getting more and more settlers out here. So we've spotted out 2 spices. So naturally, we're going to be looking to come and settle this. We could even just look to settle this position right here. We don't even need to take them out. But of course, they're hostile. So we'll go ahead and do that. But we're making our way through on technology. We're just going to be completing. We're going to do a quick stop here at cartography, the mastery, just to pick up the food on all of the buildings. There's a part of me that also wants to go for the +1 food on production on camps and woodcutters. But I think food's probably going to have a bit more of an impact. Here we'll go into feudalism, then we'll go into heraldry, and then we'll go up into shipbuilding. So we've only just taken a quick delay out over here, and we've already started to get some citizens beginning to come through. Our first golden age, we can choose between gold and overbuilding, and we're definitely going to take overbuilding at this stage, just simply because we've got so damn much of it. We're also going to throw commune in there now, because this is a nice little opportunity for us to do that, and we can start really stacking up some of our things. So the way I like to do it is always work for your big production first. The sooner you get production in, the better. On top of that, you want to be looking for any quarters that are incomplete that you can complete with just one building. So here we've got a granary that's got nothing paired up with it. Here we've got an altar, or rather the city hall, that has nothing paired up for it. So we'll go with the granary out here. And then I also like to do this just at the start, is I like to go absolutely crazy with all of our buildings and just make sure that everything has got a home. So we've got a +13 out here. We're going to save this for our production buildings, just primarily because I think production is a lot more valuable than science. Even though obviously science is good, we still want to prioritize production. And then we've got finally a grist mill. We'll be able to put it out here. And then our wharf and temple, we're not going to bother with these ones for now. These are lower priority on the list. Though I guess there's an argument that you could make about having the wharf up, but we'll just leave it there for now. And let's take a look at our resource allocation. As you can see, everything is in the cap, everything that needs to be. I think realistically, that's about it. When it comes to specialists, this town, this city we inherited, it wasn't in a particularly good state. We're doing our best to turn it around. Is there any valuable specialists that we've got out here at the moment? It doesn't really look like it. There's nothing that calls to me other than the city center that's got +3. Or that's not even the city center. That's the blacksmith library. You know what? That's not terrible. +3s aren't too bad. We'll go ahead and throw these bad boys down. And these are just going to increase as the age moves on. Over towards the east here, we've also got another city. So once again, we're just going to follow those same rules. So we'll go with a stone cutter, open up, and we want to try and match up our previous buildings. So down here, we've got one. Ideally, we should be starting off with the sawmill because this has more specific placement requirements. So we'll start off with that. Then we'll put the stone cutter down, but then we'll move the stone cutter back up. And then, do we kick the gristmill out? What happened there? Sawmill? Stone cutter? The gristmill just can't be placed. That can't be placed anywhere. So that's absolutely fine because we're going to prioritize. And we probably want to do bazaar before we do anything. Even though it's just only a +6, it's still worthwhile having it. And even though the production numbers are significantly greater, I still feel like just having that gold because it's going to be receiving multipliers on top of that. So we'll leave this little turn right here for you guys. Well, let me just fix these settlers up over here. We got a little bit of a migration beginning to happen, but we'll move it over onto the into the next turn right here because I can feel it coming. Oh, actually, did we not? We didn't fix up these guys yet. We didn't fix up you guys. I was over here thinking, hold on a minute. We haven't done this yet. So let's go ahead and we will gather all these guys. We'll do this, and then we can begin exploring for more city-states to conquer. Sorry, city-states, but we will be coming for you. Okay, it's turn 10, and it's time for us to start building some world wonders, and of course, we're going to start with none other than Borobudur, throwing it down in the one tile remaining in our city that can actually build it. If we complete this, it is going to be absolutely broken. So we're looking forward to get that in as quick as possible. We do have the option for a +14 up here, so maybe we might throw that down afterwards. We've also got a +17 temple. I don't know though. I think this is probably best left reserved for gold income, maybe food income we could argue as well, but I think primarily gold is going to be the primary thing that we want. On top of that, we've started to make a push out over towards the east. We've got a couple of guys on fire, but our settlers are slowly making it across the sea. This one's almost actually here, so we're just looking for places to put down. We do have some niter out here as well, so we'll look to potentially grab that. Some camels we can send back, but the main thing here is just going to be getting this back to the network. Over towards the west, though, we have cleaned up the city-state finally, and we are now looking for fertile ground to settle. So that's going to be a key component here for us as we've just discovered a new continent. Looks like this is a new continent for us. We've continued moving up towards the north. We ideally want to look to try and heal up as well, anything that actually needs to be healed, and it looks like we've got a good spot here. This is going to be the primary location we want to settle though, because the sooner we can actually get up and running, then the faster it's going to be. So that's the primary thinking at the moment. Let's take a look at our social policies and see if there's anything worthwhile here. We could put constitution in. It's not terrible. I don't think we're a suzerain of any city-state, so that doesn't really work. And we're not going to be training any naval units in the near future, so we'll just leave those here. And I think everybody else can just get back over to the pile. So we'll go ahead and move these guys all a little bit closer. Back over towards this side. We're slowly expanding our religion out. It doesn't look like the AIs are particularly religion conscious this game, at least the ones on our homeland. That's despite having Isabella, who I thought was all about that religion. I can't even see her capital. She's put her cap in a weird location. Hasn't kept it the same. But we're slowly beginning to build here. We'll leave our commander here, our army commander here, and we'll roll over the turn. And we've unlocked feudalism. So let's just keep expanding up. There's some chocolate, or cocoa rather, and we're slowly getting things done. And our espionage has been completed. It looks like we got discovered. Oh no, rather that's Tubman. We've discovered. Of course, we discovered Tubman. It's always Tubman. It's always Tubman. All right, heraldry. 2 turns to go on that one. And now we've got another city that can look to try and get some more stuff in. So our focus here, we'll look for the sawmill and where we can place it first. That's going to be our primary goal. We want to overbuild these bad boys first. These ones here we don't want to touch. These ones we definitely do. But it's frustrating losing that nameplate. So we're putting the sawmill in here. We can just build it along with the sawmill, our stonecutter. So let's go ahead. We'll do that. We've got a +16 observatory. That is definitely something that we could take. That's not a bad observatory. I'll say that much right there. It's got some good adjacencies. However, we're just going to take the +8 for now. And we've also got access to an inn as well as a grist mill. I think it's probably just better we'll focus on the inn for now. There's lots of spots that we can put it down. A +7 does give us a little bit of extra happiness. We aren't the happiest of folk at the moment. So maybe just throwing it down on the altar is probably not a bad little idea. We've got more resources that we can assign. I don't know why it keeps popping up and saying, hey, you got resources to assign. We don't have any resources to assign. We're about to have some resources to assign, though. That is for sure. And we'll throw everybody back into the commander. And we'll begin moving our way up towards the north. I think we might want to just stay for a little bit here and just heal up. We also want to get a settler over there. And we've met our 6th player for today. Looks like it's going to be Ashoka. So we'll go ahead. Hello, Ashoka. Greetings. And hopefully he offers us some trade deals soon. I think this is our final settler that's coming out. No, I take it back. We've got more settlers, plenty more where that came from. We've got a lot of settlers that are moving out here. The sooner we get this land settled, then the sooner we can start working towards that victory condition. And that economic victory condition is going to be the slowest one by far. So once we get that one sorted out, then we'll be absolutely easily able to clean up the rest of it. Now, there's an argument to be made that you could probably come in like this at the bottom, but I think this guy at the top's probably going to do the work the fastest. So we'll continue moving. Yeah, he's already here. You're already here, mate. You can probably head on over, but there's a part of me that's just tempted to move up towards the north. We've got some good water up here. This is looking, gosh, wouldn't you love to live at a place like this, man? I tell you what, we're going to have to wait for that guy. I'd love to live somewhere like this, but the bank account can't afford it. It's incredibly expensive to live in places like that. All right, we roll over once again to the next turn. We've got a couple more units that require commands, and there we go. That's another city that we've now got. If we take a look at our religion stats, we're only at 18%. I say we're only at 18%. 18% ain't bad. Actually, we're about to complete theology, so let's roll over the turn and just take a look at what we're going to take for theology.
Yes.
Looks like we didn't lose any units that turn. It's always nice. And Tubman, we've stolen off Tubman here. We got a whole bunch of science. So let's go ahead and upgrade that religion. We can now pick another belief, so an enhancer belief, and there's a lot to choose from. So we can get an extra relic slot, definitely not worth it. Extra production towards missionaries, I don't think so. Missionaries receive +1 charge. That's quite nice. When a trade route is established to your settlement, or to a settlement, it's converted to your religion. This one's pretty good as well. I don't mind that at all. And conquered settlements are converted to your religion. Very nice. Units gain +5 combat strength in friendly settlements that follow this religion. You can never go past Defender of the Faith. It is just objectively, I'm not even gonna, you know what, it's objectively the best. I don't even have to look at the rest, man. I just see Defender of the Faith. Those 4 words are enough for me. I know how powerful that is. It's not even fair, man. You defending or attacking someone into Defender of the Faith is just impossible, or at least it feels impossible. So I want to come up for the House of Wisdom here because you get 3 relics, and it's a nice little boost just to get you moving up to speed a little bit faster. The only trouble is that I'm pretty sure the AI goes for it quite early. Oh, that's a dead settler. Oh, that's a dead settler. How are you dead already? You didn't even go that crazy. You went like across here, and then you went up. 1, 2, 1, 2. You're gone next turn. Oh, that sucks. Well, I guess this settler isn't go. Oi, get back down here, mate. we got a task for you to do. Let's just move everybody back. We need to take this water a little bit more seriously. You got to respect the water. If you don't respect the water, we got a migrant. Where did we go? Oh, we got a migrant from our competition that we did. Our espionage that we did. So we grow in 8 turns. So I'm just going to sleep this bad boy for now, because that's actually pretty decent to be growing in 8 turns. And we'll move our settlers across. This one here is going to be our last settler, and we can finally settle in the new world. Do we get that quest? Sometimes there's a quest that pops up where it's like, we want to connect this immediately. Let's grab our fishing key, and that is now hopefully connected. So if we go take a look at our resource tab, scroll all the way to the bottom. It is not yet connected. Is it not connected to the network? Maybe it takes a turn or two. You know how the UI can be. There it is. This is what I was looking for. So we get -2 happiness in all settlements while the quest is active, but we'll get a migrant and an expansionist attribute point, which we are happily going to take. So we'll stay here. We'll heal up for a little bit. I think that's going to make the most sense. We could even bring this guy back and just do a little bit of healing as well. But we want to look to try and settle these all before the other leaders settle them. That's going to be the key component here. Where do we settle on this? Is that the settle? I mean, you could just settle here. With regard to priority on resources as well, this is one of the things I've noticed that for me, like the most important thing is just getting the special resources, getting the foreign resources. Like I don't really prioritize whales or dyes that much, and I guess I probably should. Jade's at this point in the game, Jade is actually quite good. Like you're probably pulling like 6 to 7 gold per Jade, and there's Borobudur
is the nature of no birth
coming through. So if we take a look, I probably should have, I want to do a screenshot beforehand and after, but you can tell which ones are the quarters and which ones aren't. So this one's not a quarter. It's got a market in it and a bazaar. And the market is obsolete, therefore it's not currently a quarter. If you build something on top of that market, it will become a quarter. But at the moment, it's not. Whereas this next to it is a brickyard and a saw pit. And as you can see, it's got that 2 happiness. This here is a granary and a stonecutter, and it's got that 2 happiness. This here is a monument and a villa. It's obsolete. Why does it have 2 happiness? It probably just came from the villa because the happiness is capped at 2 on the age. I guess the point is, though, that Borobudur affects every single quarter across the entire empire, and that is just... How is that even fair? That's crazy. Like, even if it was just your settlement... I mean, if it was just your settlement, it just does... If it's just the settlement, that's just Colosseum. It's just Colosseum, mate. Calm down. All right, well, with Borobudur completed, we might leave it here, and we'll wait for the next turn to roll over, and I'll see you guys soon. It's turn 16, and it's time for our Powerspike. Our technology is just completed, and that was the castle's technology, giving us access to the dungeon. The dungeon is the same type of unit or the same type of building that you would find as like a blacksmith or a barracks. So often if you stack them up all on top of each other in the antiquity age, you can roll over and get some pretty damn good ones. Now, we've been saving up all of our gold. We've been stocking it up. We've been buying up bazaars everywhere. The good news is we've got lots of money to play with. So we're going to focus on cities that have got less production. So we'll start out over here, and we're going to purchase a dungeon. It's going to be a 9 production, which is very nice. Now, of course, it also provides influence on top of that. So we're very, very happy with that. But all of these are going to be focused around having specialists that amplify their bonus even further. Now, Chickslaw's actually making the Tomb of Askia in here, so we'll go ahead and we'll just purchase this bad boy for him. For them, it is a plus 15 production that we've just gotten a boost to, even though it only says 13 there. It could be, is it an issue with the specialists? Maybe it's something to do with the specialists, I'm not quite sure. But perhaps the yields aren't displaying correctly. Creek, I think, is actually a pretty decent size production. It's already got 42, so we're not going to purchase in Creek. We'll instead just look to put down Creek's only going to get a plus 5 anyway, so it's probably not too big of a value. We do have a plus 15 out here, though, and this is one of our weaker towns, so we'll go ahead and put that in, even though it's only coming up as a 12.5. I don't know, the UI is probably bugged, so you'll have to forgive me for calling out these numbers as I see them. That one there worked. So we got a 9 for that one, and Hitchy has got the last one that we're going to be giving. That's a plus 12, so we have done pretty well with our production in the Empire. We've also got a plus 13 here for the cap that we'll go ahead. Actually, was that the right place? That wasn't the right place. I mean, technically, it is the right place. We had science in there before, and we put science in there already. I don't mind putting science in there, but my main focus is almost always production. A strong production is going to guarantee you've got a strong city, and I think especially if you're playing a style like this, where you're just making lots and lots and lots of cities, you want them all to be producing. If a war gets declared, we can have units pumping immediately, and that's 8 cities that are going to be pumping units. It's not going to be 1, it's not going to be 2, it's 8 that are pumping. So we got to keep that in mind as to part of the reason why 8 cities is just so damn strong. So let's go ahead and finish off our production out here. We actually have a shipyard that we can build. Even though we're getting a plus 8 over here. Oh, you know what? This plus 8 is pretty good. I was going to say we probably want to overbuild it. We could overbuild here, even though technically that wouldn't be overbuilding. It would complete the quarter, though, which is arguably quite good. So we could throw it on the key. Let's just throw it on the key here. Though we did just start on that, and that could create problems in the future. You know what? We're all over the place today. We'll accept that one. And the turns seem to roll over really quickly. That could be because of my system, or it could be because turns are just rolling over really quickly. Now, one of the things that I've kind of noticed is that when you do have these sort of multi-side pronged attacks where you can go out the west and you can go out the east, it's important not to focus on both sides. So basically the plan that I'm running at the moment is on my to my west, I'm basically going to be exploring, and I'm just going to be taking the archipelago. I'm going to be going up the archipelago as far as I can with the settlers that I've got, looking just to settle spices, just looking to settle tea, any resource that I can send back to the homeland. So cocoa here is going to be instrumental as well. So that's the key, that's the main focus here. So we can just send everything up. I don't think there's anything else here, so we can look up towards this, but that'll give us 4 settlements that are along the western flank that we'll be able to utilize. On top of that, we've also got our very first treasure fleet, which has just spawned. So we'll begin moving them back over towards, we only have to move them to this position right here, but I like to bring them all the way into land and then click them all at the exact same time. So we'll do that. If we take a look out over towards the east, though, it's a different story because we actually need to found an anchor point, an anchor town. So that's going to be absolutely instrumental in our success on the mainland. We've got a couple of growths right here. It's going to take us over to this one. We'll take the dyes, and then it's going to take us all the way back. I tell you what, that is that's not good if you get seasickness. I'll say that much. We're going to start. Oh, you know why that is? That's because we've just picked up with our new expansionist point. We just got it right here. Gain +1 population in towns. New towns start with an additional population. So that's quite nice because it means that you can just pick up the tiles here immediately. Now, with this settler, I think this settler is going to need to come over onto this tile right here. So we don't really need to go up the archipelago on this one. As long as we just secure a couple of resources, I'm happy with that. But we need to go and find that anchor point. So now that we've unlocked shipbuilding, you'll see that we'll be able to move a lot further than otherwise. Oh my lord, did we really make it all that way and onto land? That was a mistake. I should have gone one at a time. I shouldn't have done that. We've also got the option for a shipyard over here. So we'll definitely take the overbuild wherever possible just because we've got all those bonuses that go towards us. 6 happiness in cities for both leaders. Well, how many cities have we got? So we're getting absolute massive value from 88 to 132 happiness there. That is extra nice. We can also see that we've got Harriet Tubman. Oh my god, Tubman! She's doing it again. Counter spy. Counter spy ran out. So we're going to have to get it back in there. We're already running this. I think we're running this on Isabella. That's probably why we can't actually do it. So let's go ahead. Can we put this in? I like that it prompted me to put the resources in. Oh, you know why? It's probably not connected to the network. That's probably why. That's why. Let's get you connected to the network. My bad. One of the things of learning, you know, when you're playing in the exploration ages, making sure that you connect all of your towns because they won't actually start producing until you actually get them connected in all of those towns. So we're going to keep exploring up here. We've found a hostile science state. Now, do we actually need to bring these guys freedom or not? That's going to be a key question. We might lose this. I think we actually lose it right here. Yeah, a little bit of a mistake. And we've got a significant blizzard. Tomb of Askia is also coming up. We are. Even if you should be in towers of we're doing well. So Tomb of Askia came up in Chickasaw. And Tomb of Askia, the way that it works is it gives you gold and production for every resource assigned to the settlement. So that naturally means we want to put as many resources as we can in here as possible. I don't think we've got any camels. So Chickasaw has only got access to 5 specific slots, so we'll max that out for now. But one of the things that we can think about is looking to potentially trade with somebody that's got camels, because I'm sure if we purchased a trader, there would have to be a merchant, rather. If we purchased a merchant, there would have to be some camels in here somewhere. There we go. I was a little bit worried there, but we'll send the merchant out towards here. Is there anybody else that's got any? It doesn't look like it. There is a single camel tile that is connected on this entire continent. Maybe we can bring some back from the homeland, or from the new lands, the fresh lands. What are these lands called over here? You guys get the idea. Anyway, what we want to do, so we can drop a city here. Ideally, we want... Never mind. I've got everything. I've got everything that I need. You don't worry about those other resources. This is what we came for. Okay, we're still on turn 18. I wanted to show you guys something because I'll be honest with you, I had no idea about it until I went and saw it. Then I tried to redo it and I couldn't fix it, so I've had to reload the game and play through everything again. We're going to take our celebration here. We're going to get an extra 20% gold. On top of that, we're also going to take this policy that we just unlocked at Colonialism, which I'm going to be honest, I absolutely skipped over when I previously went through and played in the exploration age. It's going to take me time before I actually understand how everything connects together. Watch our gold. 186 gold up to 369. We just doubled our gold again. And now we are really starting to kick it into 5th gear. I mean, that was all I wanted to show you, gold is good. We like good. Extra gold is a good thing. So +1 gold on each gold adjacency. I mean, when I went through initially, I looked at the civics. I went through the tech trees, and I marked down what I thought was highest priority, what I thought was mid priority, those sorts of things. The main thing for me was settlement limits were a big factor, as well as really good wonders. So this world wonder was a huge component of that. So I naturally just kind of came down here. It wasn't until I actually clicked that button, I was like, hold on a minute, my gold just doubled. What was that? It was charters with +1 gold on each adjacency. It means that I don't know whether we're getting crazy amounts of adjacency. I'm gonna have to look into it, but our gold went absolutely wild there, so I'll get back to you about it. I suspect it could be the interaction. I suspect it's giving a flat bonus. Just looking at this, it went from 18 to 19. So I think what's happened is every single gold adjacency across the empire. Hold on, there's a gold right here. I don't know where that's coming from, but every gold that's coming in from adjacency has been doubled. No, that wouldn't make sense because oh no, that's a pock top. Oh, that's why. Well, then there should be gold adjacency here, but then you'd think it would be doubled. I don't know what it is, but I will find out, and I will make us all rich. That is for sure. It's turn 21 and it's time to talk about all things yields. Today we have completed our guild hall and bazaar on the same tile, and it's pulling in a decent yield at the moment, so we've managed to start building towards our science legacy path. We've already picked up 4 apparently out of the 6 tiles. I didn't even realize we're not doing too bad here. But further to that, we've also had some progress over towards the eastern front. We've picked up a town which will soon become our city. That was not my intention to go over here, but hey, we're here now, so we might as well just spend the specialist. We've probably got some more to cycle through here. You know, it's one of those frustrating things in Civ 7 that you can't really do yet. You can't actually just grow a city by clicking on it. You got to click this button, but there we go. We finally made it back, and I'm sure people would look at this and prioritize the spices, but not me. It's all about the camels, baby. So we'll go ahead and drop the fishing key in as well, and you know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to head over, and we are going to put these camels in. I tell you what, I'm excited. We finally got some camels. We connected them all up. Apparently the whales are not in the network, so we'll have to get them all connected. I think we probably just want production. Can we just throw some production in here? We want to build this city up, and let's move every. Oh, we need to get that. Does it tell us which city it's from? Settlement is not connected to your empire's trade network. It doesn't tell you which settlement it's from. If I had to guess, I'd say it was you. Was I right? I think I was right. We got it. All right, so we've sorted out this town over on the west side of the map, and now we're starting to look towards expansion. So we're going to be putting a temple over here. We've now got 4 temples, so we've unlocked Siam. And we've got some barbarians on our border, but it's not a problem. It's not a problem. We've got the commander coming up the rear, and he'll be able to deploy here for us. I suspect we should probably better for us to wait on land. Let's do it on land. And we've also got another promotion over towards the west side of the map. You can see there's a little bit of a campaign here. Now, the most likely thing that happens here is we just delete the settlers. We don't have any use for them. If we come up towards this northern position the same way that we're doing right now, we've got a couple of settlers, and we've got nowhere to settle. Now, granted, we could settle here, right? Nothing wrong with this settle, except you are losing quite a bit if you do that. So that's the main concern, is that we'd actually be losing quite a bit here. So we're going to avoid doing that. Let's maybe move around towards the top side. Great General can come through as well. I'm going to call them Great Generals forever. I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try my hardest, but it is tough. Well, let's take a look and see what else we've got. We've got the kiln to build. I don't think we can really... Oh, one interesting thing to note that I did actually just realize. Normally, I always look to try and stack my monument and my villa together on a tile outside of the capital. As an example, this one right here has got a monument and a villa on it. And the reason why is because you have influence on these on these buildings, and influence is very important. However, it doesn't go over the cap, which is 2 yields per building of any yield. So if you've got a building that's got, you know, 10 yields of everything, it will carry over 2 yields of everything into the next age. So my thinking was the monument and the villa together, because then they're going to carry that across. But what that didn't consider was that if there's a natural wonder, or rather a natural disaster, there's a risk that the buildings collapse or break, and you can't repair them. You don't get an option to repair them. Here, my villa and my monument were on the same tile. I never built over the monument, but there was a blizzard that came through, and the blizzard destroyed all of the buildings that were down here. Oh, look, here again. The monument was destroyed on this tile as well. So all of these were kind of destroyed throughout the blizzard. I think it just hits at RNG. That was an interesting little find. So there you go. You lose the access to overbuild on it. I mean, we were never planning to overbuild on it. The idea is that we want to just keep it forever, just for that influence. We're up to 69 influence a turn at the moment, which is very nice. So that's where the current status is. We're about to complete some world wonders as well. El Escorial is about to come through. So we're going to go ahead. We'll drop down the kiln and we'll just throw it on that tile. We might as well. There's no reason for us not to. Actually, no, there is a reason for us not to. If we put it on that tile, then we're incentivized to complete the quarter, and we don't want to complete the quarter. So even then, it's kind of tempting to leave it. And maybe we could potentially, maybe we put it on, yeah, we want to put it on this tile. We want to complete around the urban center first, because we've got specialists that could be in here that could be buffing this up, but they're not. So there you go. We're learning. We're slowly getting there. We're stacking up all of our gold on the same tile. Let's make sure that we complete all of these kilns. We've got some good music coming through right now. So we want to go on this tile right here, amphitheater. We want to overlay that one. And what have we got up here? We've just got a random army commander that is just up here chilling, and we've found something that we like. The only problem is I don't think we've got any more settles over on the east side. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then this is a 4th settle that we could do. Now we could bring a settler over here, but it's highly unlikely that we get it. And even then, look, I'm not too fussed about it. I think we've got more than enough of these resources within the network. We're slowly bringing back our treasure fleets here, but we'll leave it there, and we'll update you on the next rollover of the next turn, whenever that may be. It's turn 22, rolling over to turn 23, and we've just completed our milestone. We've done a whole bunch of things, but the key thing that I was excited about is that we've got entertainment locked down, which means, rather not entertainment, education locked down. Sorry, caught up a little bit in the antiquity age. And with that means that we've now got 1 specialist limit in all cities. We've cleaned up a whole bunch of our rural tiles here with a world wonder that is no longer available. It was I don't know exactly what it was called, but it was basically you have to place it on a river and it gives a +1 happiness adjacency to all buildings adjacent to a navigable river. Very, very specific. Like, we would only really be able to take or gain bonuses along this river here and like maybe down here. Very, very specific. Maybe Egypt, or at least Hatshepsut, loves that. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about our specialists. As you can see, we've got some good numbers that are down here. We've got a +7 gold, so a total of 12 that is going to be in on that tile. So already this tile is starting to look very, very nice and healthy. But we're working towards getting our full ring of buildings around our palace. We still haven't been able to do it yet, just simply because we've had a lot of adjacencies that are out here quite far. So what we're going to do is we're going to look to now focus on our adjacency. So this one here could be decent, but this one's looking a lot better. And that's going to mean that going from 66 production, we're going to put 1, 2, 3 more in there, and that'll take us from 66 production, hopefully up to a decent number, 75 production that we've got here. We've now got also access to a university, so we can consider putting them down as well. We've also got an option for it to go. We've got the Dungeon Observatory combo here, so we could look to put it there. I'm more tempted to throw it down a little bit closer to home. We've got, this is the sort of mindset behind base building. So essentially we want to keep our first ring should all be quarters, and the second ring should all be world wonders or resources. So you can see in our second ring here, we've got 1, 2, I'm trying to, it's hard to visualize, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not in the second ring. So we've got 4 in the second ring at the moment. So that's essentially the goal. And then that way they're going to give adjacency bonuses to all of them. So I think instead we'll just opt to put our unique district down. And we'll probably put it down on this tile as it's got a world wonder that's already started for us here, and then we can look to put down the university after. So with the exception of that, I mean, we've also got some more specialists that we could look to put in. Nothing too crazy in here just yet. We could also just go for a random tile, but I think we'll just take this one. You know what? Culture's really not a problem at the moment. We've got 352, so that's not going to boost us up a huge amount, but maybe a little bit of food might do us might do us well. So let's go ahead and take that. You can see we actually cleared out quite a few of these. We've also got another migrant as well that we can put down. Our espionage has been doing very, very well. And now we can look to clean up. Actually, let's go check in over on the Eastern Front as we've just begun expanding over here. We'll go ahead and deploy all of our troops. Now, one thing to note is this is only a level 1 commander, which means, unfortunately, we could turn that into a nighter. That sounds fine. It means, unfortunately, that we're not going to be too easily able to take this down, but we'll be able to get there eventually. We've also now got our very first missionary that is out here on this continent, and what we're going to do is we are just going to absolutely flood this continent with our own missionaries, because one of the things that we do is we gain a relic for every time we get a first conversion of another civilization settlement in distant lands that is not a city-state. And what do we need a lot of? We need a lot of relics. So that's going to be our goal here, and this should hopefully, as long as the AI has done a decent job of expanding across the continent, because there's only 2 of them, and it means that you've got world one or natural wonders down here that are just not even colonized yet, not even owned by anybody. We can see some tiles down here, kind of close, but yeah, nothing just yet. So anyway, we'll roll over a couple more turns and we'll see you guys shortly. This will quickly be over though. We're at turn 23 now. I think we'll probably take this out before turn, I'm gonna go with 35. It's turn 30 and we are closing in on our victory conditions or our legacy paths. We've built a number of world wonders throughout our empire as well, but they don't count towards our cultural legacy path. The key here is that we're looking to pick up relics. Now, fortunately, our civilization's got a unique district, and whenever it completes, it'll complete with a relic. At the moment, we're currently sitting... Oh, wrong button. Let me click that one. We need 12, and we're sitting at 9. On top of that, whenever we convert a settlement owned by another civilization in the distant lands over to our religion, it's going to give us a relic. So that should hopefully now push us up to 10, and indeed it has. So we need 2 more relics for this. When it comes to our economic legacy path, that is going to be dependent on treasure fleets. As these slowly make their way across the ocean, they will eventually make their way back towards the mainland. And that is at the point where we can then all of a sudden cash them in. Not only do we get treasure fleet points, we also pick up some gold as well. So that's going to take us... So far, we're doing relatively well. Now, just keep in mind, this is only one side of the continent. There we go. Not doing too bad. Some decent cash that we've made there, up to 1,500. And we've got a whole bunch more that we've managed to bring on this nice little lake on the inside. That's given us our second economic point now. And we've got a couple more on the way through that are making their way slowly across the ocean. This one might have to wait until next turn, but that has lifted us up to the second point. Still got that third point. From the military perspective, this is just going to be dependent on us settling in the distant lands and then actually converting our religion over. So that's going to be a key component of it. At the moment, we've got the 1, the 2, the third one about to be converted with a couple of treasure fleets as well. Meanwhile, over on the west side, you can see that we've got a whole bunch that are converted to the enemy's religion. So we're going to need to send out our own missionaries to look to convert those back. And then we'll station those missionaries as well in the cities so that in the event any enemy missionaries come out, that we'll be able to easily convert them back without too much of a hassle. Here we've found our way through, and there's... I mean, realistically, there's not too long to go. And then with regard to the scientific path, we've already finished this one. So far, it's feeling pretty good. When it comes to how the base is building back at home, the cities do continue to grow significantly. So we can see another 5 turns to go before growing in the capital, up to 40 population. It's definitely not the biggest caps that I've ever seen. And I suspect if I play this on a standard speed, as we pick up right now another golden age, quite literally a golden age, we've got some incredible stuff in here, but I think we're probably just going to have to stick with the and anything that gives bonuses towards specialists. So this right here should actually speed this process up quite a bit, but we'll have to, it remains to be seen at the moment. Other than that, I guess we just leave it there for the moment, and I'll check in with you guys in, I'm going to go with turn 34. It is turn 36, and we finally made it along to the end. If we take a look at our legacy pathway, we're 70% of the way through our age progress. Our culture is complete. Our science is complete. Our economy is the only one that we're waiting on. And our military, well, that is at our beck and call as to when it actually wants to be completed. We'll go ahead now and move all of these missionaries across into their respective positions and make sure that we take all of the, both the urban as well as the, as the rural districts. It looks like we might have to miss one just down here on the south, but that puts us at 11 out of 12. So we'll get this one on the next turn. And with regard to our economy, of course, we're just going to finish off our treasure fleets, and that should hopefully give us enough. Indeed it does, and even if it wasn't enough, we had a couple in the spare back here. We're technically not in we're not in our territory back here, but we are right there, and we've got a couple more, so that's going to give us a whole nice bunch of bounty, which is lovely. And let's check in with the capital. It's at 43 population at the moment. We've got a lovely tile down here that we're just continuing to add more and more specialists on. It's got great value. It's 12 yield for each one of these specialists, so very nice to have these ones. We've started working on the capital as well. Or the city center. It's not looking as juicy as some of these outer tiles. Like whenever I see the production, I'm always very excited to go and grab those as well. We got one turn until Notre Dame. Looks like we're growing in other places, so we can go ahead and probably put down, I mean, normally it's a bit of a toss-up between gold and production, even though production is definitely better. Gold is just a lot more flexible, and that's one of the things you got to remember, that when it comes to gold, while technically it might not be worth as much as production, it gives you a lot more in the way of flexibility. If I want to just turn this town right now into a city, I can do it. If I just want to immediately get this city up and running, I can just drop production in it straight away with heaps of gold, and you don't have to think about it. It's all done for you. The gold conversion into the production is just really where it's at. And now we're up to 51 production. So now this town is able to, or this new city rather, is able to just be the, you know, whatever it is that we want it to be. And that is 1,500 gold that we've just sunk into that. So that's, you know, I think that's a very important element of this, of the gold. One other key thing, which I thought was important to remember, or important to mention, is we were sitting at about 400 to 500 culture, and we got to one of the unique civics for the Majapa hit. I didn't realize how impactful this would be. +4 culture on quarters. That's kind of wild, man. That's kind of wild. All of a sudden, it was literally just overnight, like a plus 1,000 culture. And I was thinking, hold on, we don't have, there's no way we've got 250 quarters out here. Like, it's just not happening. But, you know, I was doing some math and I was like, we're not at 250, but I think we're pretty damn close to it. We're really starting to stack up quite a lot of quarters in here. And you can see, you know, you've got 4, 8, you got, there's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You'd have to think somewhere in the region of about 10 to 12 quarters per city. And if you got 8 of them, you're looking at close to 100, 96. So it's an impressive amount of culture that is coming through from that. But let's roll over the turn. We'll do a little forced rollover, and we'll go ahead. We'll complete Notre Dame, and that gives us, we've now got another world wonder in that second ring, giving us that lovely adjacency. Oh, thank you. Very, very nice. And that should give it to us. So that'll now give us all 4 legacy paths completed, and we're at 88%. So all we have to do from here is just roll out the turns. I think pretty much every city's just completed everything that it needs to at this stage. We've only got the last little bits that need to be done. I think everybody's pretty much working on their walls now. So we've got walls over here, we've got walls over here. What have we got in Choctaw? We've got a couple of buildings that we can build or that we can buy, depending on how we're feeling. But that's essentially it. We are going to leave it there. So I think we're probably going to leave quite a few saves on the Discord. If you are wanting to play this through, I'll go ahead and leave a couple there. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. Leave them on the Discord. Any feedback, make sure you chuck it down there. If you've enjoyed the video, a little bit less structured, I would say. I feel like I'm not as confident making this video just because it's going to take a while for me to explore exploration. You know, when I made my very first video on antiquity, it was a video that I had about 50-60 hours playing through Civ 7 at that point, whereas here in exploration, I'm probably sitting at maybe 8 or 9 hours, so there's much less confidence coming out of this. It's more just something interesting that I've found, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to leave a like, and of course, if you're looking forward to more Civ 7 content, make sure you hit that subscribe button because there is always time for one more turn.